Shadows of Legacy. Quartermain mourning turns to mayhem on General Hospital. In the gilded halls of Port Charles, where fortunes rise and fall like the relentless tide, the Quartermain dynasty stands on the precipice of fracture. As the autumn sun dips low on Friday, September 26, General Hospital delivers a pulse-pounding episode laced with grief, glimmers of redemption, and a conspiracy so audacious it could shatter the very foundations of one of soapdom's most iconic families. The shadow of Monica Quartermain looms large, her absence a gaping wound that pulls loved ones into a vortex of raw emotion and ruthless ambition. But amid the tears, a spark of hope flickers for the weary detective Dante Falconeri, while a mysterious newcomer, played by the legendary Erika Slezak, threatens to unearth secrets buried deeper than any crypt. Buckle up, Port Charles faithful. This isn't just a funeral, it's a reckoning. Elegy for a matriarch. The Quartermain vigil ignites the air in the Quartermain crypt hangs heavy with the scent of polished marble and wilting lilies, a somber sanctuary where the elite of Port Charles come to whisper farewells to their fallen. Monica Quartermain, the indomitable heart of the Q Empire, surgeon, survivor, and unyielding force of nature, has left this world, but her spirit refuses to fade quietly. As the family convenes one final time at her graveside, the episode opens with a scene that crackles with barely contained fury. Drew Kane, the interloper whose very presence has long grated against the Quartermain grain, shatters the fragile peace. Picture it. Velvet-draped coffins, flickering candlelight casting elongated shadows that dance like specters across anguished faces. Drew, ever the opportunist with his chiseled jaw set in defiance, launches into a tirade that echoes off the stone walls, a bold, uninvited eulogy laced with self-serving barbs. Gasps ripple through the mourners like a chill wind. Edward's descendants, those proud lions of industry, bristle as one. Is this the man who dared to claim a stake in their legacy? The fallout is immediate and visceral. Sidelong glares sharpen into daggers, whispers swell into a cacophony of outrage. Will the Quartermains, in their aristocratic disdain, simply turn their backs on him as the procession departs, leaving Drew adrift in the dust of his own hubris? Or will cooler heads prevail, dragging this drama into the light for all of Port Charles to devour? As twilight bleeds into night, the family retreats to the sprawling Quartermain mansion, a bastion of opulent excess, with its crystal chandeliers and walls lined with portraits of tycoons past. Here, amid the clink of fine china and the murmur of memories, the true vigil begins. Tables groan under silver platters of delicacies untouched, a feast for the soul rather than the stomach. Ned Quartermain, the silver-tongued scion whose charm has weathered corporate wars and personal tempests, steps forward with a crystal flute raised high. His voice, steady yet laced with a tremor that betrays the depth of his loss, cuts through the hush. To Monica, the fierce guardian of our blood, the woman who stitched not just wounds of the flesh, but the frayed threads of our fractured hearts. She was the best of us, the unyielding light in our stormiest seas. The toast ripples outward, drawing forth a tapestry of tributes. Tracy, the venomous viper of the clan, softens for a fleeting moment, her eyes glistening with unshed tears as she recalls Monica's wry counsel during boardroom battles. Michael, the next generation heir, speaks of her quiet wisdom in navigating the perils of power. Even the prodigal sons and daughters, scattered by ambition and betrayal, find themselves drawn back into the fold. Laughter punctuates the sorrow. Tales of Monica's legendary temper, her unerring moral compass, her ability to command a room with a single arched brow. Yet beneath the nostalgia simmers an undercurrent of tension. Drew's outburst lingers like a foul aftertaste, a reminder that not all shadows in this house are born of grief. As the night deepens, alliances shift, and old grievances claw their way to the surface. In the Quartermain world, mourning is never merely cathartic, it's a forge where vendettas are hammered anew. Whispers of dawn. Dante's fragile hope amid the gloom while the Quartermains grapple with their ghosts. Across town in the quieter corners of Port Charles, a different kind of healing stirs. Dante Falconeri, the brooding badge-wearer whose life has been a relentless parade of bullets, betrayals, and broken promises, finds himself on the cusp of something brighter. Scarred by the shadows of his past, undercover ops gone awry, fractured romances that left him adrift, Dante has long carried the weight of Port Charles like a leaden yoke. But on this fateful Friday, a slender thread of optimism weaves through the pall of loss, courtesy of an unlikely quartet: Brooke Lynn Quartermain, Olivia Falconeri, and the enigmatic Giovanni Palmieri. It starts with a gesture as simple as it is profound. Giovanni, the brooding artist with eyes like smoldering embers and a backstory shrouded in continental intrigue, materializes at Monica's funeral like a figure stepped from a Renaissance canvas. Uninvited yet unyielding, he stands at the periphery, his presence a silent vow of solidarity. For Brooke Lynn, the fiery fashionista whose heart beats in sync with the rhythm of high-stakes drama, this arrival is a balm to recent wounds. Their budding connection, forged in stolen glances and whispered confidences, has been tested by the relentless churn of Quartermain chaos. Giovanni's tribute to Monica, a woman he scarcely knew but respected through Brooke Lynn's fervent tales, speaks volumes. Loyalty isn't declared, it's demonstrated. Later, as the family reconvenes at the mansion, the conversation turns intimate. Dante, nursing a tumbler of scotch in a leather armchair, locks eyes with his mother, Olivia, the vivacious Italian firebrand whose optimism could melt the iciest resolve. "He showed up, Ma," Dante murmurs, his voice roughened by emotion. At the funeral, no less. Amid all this heaviness, Olivia's response is pure Falcone gold. A knowing smile that crinkles the corners of her eyes, followed by a sage nod. Words are wind, Dante mio. But crossing that threshold? Stepping into the lion's den of our world? That's a declaration. It says he's not just passing through, he's planting roots. The moment hangs electric, charged with possibility. Brooke Lynn, overhearing from across the room, feels a flutter in her chest, a rare vulnerability cracking her armored exterior. Giovanni's audacity isn't mere chivalry, it's a bridge spanning the chasm between their worlds. For Dante, watching his sister's tentative joy, it's a mirror to his own guarded heart. The recent deluge of loss, Monica's passing a stark punctuation to a year of farewells, has stripped everyone bare, forging bonds in the crucible of shared sorrow. Could this be the catalyst? A family dinner that evolves into something more, a tentative alliance, perhaps even romance, blooming under the eaves of the Q estate? As laughter punctuates the toasts, Dante allows himself a stolen breath of hope. In Port Charles, where every dawn promises disaster, such flickers are precious. But will they endure, or flicker out like so many before? Descent into deceit. Drew Cain's gambit unravels, yet for every ray of light piercing the gloom, there lurks a serpent in the garden. And his name is Drew Cain. The man who once washed ashore as a hero, a Navy SEAL reborn with amnesia and ambition, has devolved into a caricature of villainy, his moral compass shattered on the rocks of unchecked greed. His brief reprieve at General Hospital, that fleeting illusion of redemption amid sterile corridors and sympathetic glances, crumbles like ash in the wind. The funeral, meant to be a solemn interlude, becomes the stage for his most brazen act yet, a confrontation that leaves the Quartermains reeling and the audience agog. Flash to a dimly lit corner of the mansion's library, where leather-bound tomes whisper of empires built and lost. Drew corners Martin Gray, the silver-haired legal eagle whose discretion has greased the wheels of many a Port Charles scheme. The air thickens with menace as Drew leans in, his blue eyes hardening to flint. "I won't stop," he hisses, voice low and laced with venom. "Not for sentiment, not for family, not for anything." Martin's brow furrows, a flicker of unease betraying his poker face. "We know the stakes." Drew's covetous gaze has long fixed on the Quartermain fortune, that glittering hoard of stocks, real estate, and relics amassed over generations. Whispers abound that he's not just angling for a slice, he's orchestrated the very chaos threatening to consume it. And then, the bombshell that elevates this from petty pilfering to operatic outrage, the crypt. Deep in the bowels of the Quartermain estate, where cobwebs cloak forgotten sarcophagi and the air tastes of dust and decay, Tracy Quartermain stumbles upon a figure straight out of a Gothic fever dream. Cloaked in shadows, her features eerily familiar yet distorted by time and treachery, stands a woman claiming the mantle of Tracy's long-lost sister, resurrected from the annals of family lore, a ghost made flesh. Port Charles buzzes with the news. Erica Slezak, the Emmy-haunted icon whose portrayals have defined daytime drama for decades, steps into this maelstrom as the enigmatic interloper. Her entrance is pure theater, wide-eyed vulnerability masking a glint of calculation, her voice a silken thread pulling at frayed familial ties. But oh, the rumor mill churns with delicious malice. This isn't reincarnation, it's fabrication, a forgery as bold as it is baroque. Insiders murmur that Slezak's character is no blood relation, but a hired phantom, plucked from obscurity and schooled in the art of deception. And who pulls the strings? Drew Cain, of course, the puppet master whose fingerprints mar every twisted turn. Did he unearth this doppelganger in the frantic hours after Monica's demise, or was this charade brewing in the shadows long before her heart gave out? The evidence mounts like storm clouds. That cryptic letter, unearthed by Martin in the recesses of Drew's modest abode, a missive penned in haste and heavy with implication. Phrases like, "the inheritance hinge," and "mirror the matriarch," leap from the page, a blueprint for betrayal. Tracy, no stranger to scams and scandals, circles her sister like a hawk eyeing prey. Skepticism wars with a desperate hunger for connection. After all, in the Quartermain ledger, blood is both currency and curse. As accusations fly and alibis crumble, Drew's endgame crystallizes. Siphon the fortune, sow discord, and slither away unscathed. But Port Charles has a way of devouring its own. Allies turn, evidence surfaces, and the walls close in. How low can a man sink before the abyss stares back? For Drew, the plummet feels terminal, a villain so irredeemable that fans clamor for his exit, scribbling petitions in the digital ether. Yet in soap scripture, no soul is beyond salvation, or damnation. #### Echoes of intrigue. What lies beyond the veil? As the clock strikes midnight on this tumultuous September 26, the Quartermain saga teeters on a knife's edge. Monica's memory, once a unifying flame, now illuminates the fissures in the family facade. Drew's machinations threaten to topple the throne, while Dante's nascent hope offers a counterpoint of quiet resilience. Erica Slezik's arrival isn't mere cameo, it's a seismic shift, a wildcard that could redeem or ravage the Q legacy. Will Tracy unmask the imposter before the fortune slips away? Can Dante and Brooke Lynn nurture their fragile blooms amid the thorns? And in the end, as dawn creeps over the manicured lawns of the mansion, will grief forge unbreakable bonds, or fracture them irreparably? General Hospital has always thrived on the exquisite agony of its twists, and this episode is a masterclass in escalation. Tune in Friday to witness the storm break, because in Port Charles, every ending is but a prelude to the next heartbreak. What secrets will the crypt yield? Whose heart will shatter next? The Quartermains endure, but at what cost? Stay vigilant, dear viewers, the drama is just beginning. Word count: 1,678, character count: 9,847.